I'm Eileen Collins. I have an exhibit coming up at IMAGO Gallery Space, and I am an artist member at the gallery. My work is going to be titled Quinta Essentia. I'm a mixed media painter and artist, and when I started this series, I did not have a title. I was working in sort of natural tones. I had chosen that, I believe, because of the environment that I was in all winter. It was very dark, the browns, the grays, the soft, sort of muted tones. And I began doing some research about the idea of the spirit or the essence of something. And I came across a website about this idea called Quinta Essentia, which is the fifth element is the part that really struck me, because the medieval monks thought it was had to do with something being fashioned out of cosmic celestial bodies and cosmic, material, I guess you could say. I feel that it's an intangible material that we all have, and we all need to express it, but how is the question. When I talk about the spirit of a piece, I think what I'm trying to describe is that you don't have a plan when you begin, and you have to really work through it by being sort of very spontaneous and taking a lot of risks, throwing something down, saying, oh, I love it, I hate it, it's working, it's not working, and you forget yourself, and it's almost like something else is doing the painting. You're not in thought, you're just acting. And I feel that everyone embodies an essence of this type. Is it otherworldly? I don't know. I feel it's connected to being human. During the process of painting for this exhibit, I took a week out of work here and took a workshop with a woman in Maryland. And the workshop really kind of reinforced my path. I was in a group with 10 other women. When our work was unveiled, everyone had a different voice. It was so interesting to see how each person approached the materials, the mark making, and I feel we all inhabit this quality of essence that is our own. The workshop had to do with working with cold wax, and we were working on paper, and it also had to do with being bolder in design, which I think was something that felt empowering, to not be afraid to make a bolder statement. Get your darks out there right away. Look for these contrasts that are, part of the essence of the design in the end. I had a drawing that I was working on, and before I left for the workshop, and when I got back, I wasn't happy with a lot of the mark making. I just felt like I needed to start over. I wanted to take away some of the material that was on there, and that sort of leaves a little bit more of a veil, so that you don't have so much on and it's not too thick. So I am putting on some gesso, and I've tinted it with a little bit of ochre, yellow ochre, so it's not like this blaring white color. And I'm basically just really only saving what I think is at all interesting and trying to go back to sort of ground zero. right at this point, I'm doing putting in some color, looking for some contrast and trying to get something going, get something exciting going. Rotating the page really helps me to see the composition from different orientations. So if it's, working in this direction, is it working in that direction? I'm looking for something to grab me. A few frames back, if you see, like, I put in these very definite marks, and right away I'm like, oh, okay, they're a little bit too, defined. Be bold and get some really dark marks on there, and taking away that fear really helps to move the piece to a better place, to a place that is just more more definite in my decision making, and I feel more relaxed, and hopefully I find something in the piece in the next. This piece isn't finished yet, but I've got a lot to work with, and you will continue to see some of what's going on here under the next layer, or even part of it will not get buried. This is the piece that we've been chatting about, and I don't know if you can notice here, but right here under this is one of the things that I put in, like, very early on in one of the first sessions, and that still remains. It's something that I like, and it's sitting back there. The tones are working. So what I have to do now is I probably am going to have to start being more, maybe slowing down a little bit, being maybe coming in each day, taking something away, and just living with it. There comes a point where you can only work so quickly, and then you have to, like, take it down to a slower pace, and sometimes that does sort of take away the spontaneity of the piece, but then you can always pick that pace up again. But I think I need to resolve where it's going to go from here, and what are going to be some of the accessory colors that I'd like to work with, some of the tonal qualities. I think what I would like to try next is, I was introduced to Arches oil paper, so I would like to try to do pieces related to what I'm doing right now, but use the oil, the wax and oil color. I think it's going to be really fun and interesting. You can work in veils. The thing about it that I really like is it's sort of, each layer gets sort of sealed underneath itself.
Because of the cold wax?
Yes. So it dries pretty quickly overnight. So the next day you can come in and you can, again, put in another veil of color. You can work really thin, you can work thick. And I like the idea of the paper because I feel it's a little less precious. If you work on a big wooden panel or something of that, you're going to, I know I'm going to feel like, wow, this was, an $80 panel. It's got to be perfect. It's, but I love the idea of working on paper because it also absorbs the material in a different way. So I'm kind of excited about that. And again, I'm sure the fact that spring is here will affect my color sense. The colors that I was working with over the winter were definitely a reflection of what was going on around us. It was a very gray winter, and I do love subtle variations of color like that, but I'm hoping to get a little bit brighter and a little more colorful in my next series.